Hi, everyone. I'm attorney Patrick Best, the disability attorney here at Arm Lawyers. And today we're going to talk about how to prepare for your Social Security hearing. So I'm actually going to start a little bit before the hearing. You should be having frequent discussions with your attorney's office about the status of your hearing, because much in advance of the hearing, several months in advance of the hearing, they should be putting together your medical records to make sure that the judge has all of the information that he or she will need to make the decision. So your attorney's office should be keenly familiar with all of the medical records, the nature of your impairments, and the theory of the case. So all of that needs to be done ahead of time.
All right, time out. Pro tip, listen up because this one's important. Generally speaking, you must submit all written evidence, including your medical records, more than 5 business days in advance of the hearing. If you don't, the ALJ may not consider that evidence. I'll have to also emphasize here, it's 5 business days, not 5 days. So you have to consider the weekend, you have to consider any federal holidays when you're doing that. Don't make this mistake. Make sure you get those records in on time. If you have an attorney, make sure that they get the information in on time. All right, back to the video.
Leading up to the hearing, some attorneys like to discuss the hearing with the client the week of, the day before. Personally, I actually like discussing it with my clients the morning of, because it leaves them with the freshest impression of what we need to go over. Typically, I already have the case fully prepared without any issue, so it's usually smooth sailing in terms of explaining to the client what we're trying to prove. I have all of the evidence that we need, and it's just a matter of going over with them exactly what's going to happen at the hearing. Additionally, my clients have these videos, so they would have already watched the video regarding the testimony at the hearing, what to expect at the hearing. All of that should be done ahead of time. So it is not unusual for me to simply prepare with my clients the morning of. In terms of preparing that day, I'll start at the very beginning of the day. Do you take your medication for the day? I get that question all the time. The answer, of course, it depends. Do you need the medication to think clearly? Or alternatively, does the medication interfere with your ability to think clearly? Of course, you should never do anything against medical advice, so you may need to consult with your doctor, but I will tell you that the judges will normally ask if you're taking any drugs or alcohol that may interfere with your ability to answer the judge's questions. Sometimes taking medication may interfere, and sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes not taking the medication may interfere with your ability to speak clearly. So you're going to want to make sure that you're considering how you are going to give the best testimony. What to wear? Get that question all the time. You do not need to dress up, so you don't have to come in a suit or a dress or anything like that, but you should dress comfortably without being disrespectful. So generally, keep in mind it's an informal hearing. You may want to look good, but at the same time, don't feel like this is a court proceeding. Wear what is comfortable as long as it's not disrespectful. Other things you're going to want to do before the day of the hearing, you're going to want to make sure you know exactly where you're going. You're going to need to know the address of the hearing office, how to get there, where to park, where to go when you're there, where you're meeting your attorney. If you're my client, I'm actually going to do another series of videos about exactly what to expect at the hearing office. And for each individual hearing office, I'll go over exactly how to get there, where to park, what to do. So you should be fine for that. Generally speaking, be prepared to bring your photo ID, driver's license, passport, state ID. One of those things should be required because the Social Security office needs to verify your identity. You also need to consider you will be going through security, so don't bring any pocket knives, or anything else that would be problematic for a federal facility. Arrive early. So you should by now know exactly where you're going, where you're meeting your attorney, but as I said earlier, I like to meet with my clients well in advance of the hearing. I normally tell my clients at least half an hour before the hearing to be there. I like to go over things with you, make sure all of your questions are answered prior to going in, and just, again, briefly go over exactly what we're going to be covering in that hearing. So make sure you're there early enough. Too many times clients tell me they planned to be there half an hour beforehand, but got lost. They didn't know where they were going, didn't know where to park. So please take all of that into consideration and make sure you're going to be there ahead of time. The last thing you want is to not be there at the time of your hearing, not have time to prepare, and maybe the judge even skips you and reschedules it, or worse, maybe the judge dismisses your case for non-appearance. So you do want to make sure that you're there far enough in advance.
Okay, I know that was a lot to cover, so I'm going to do it one more time really quickly. Day of the hearing recap. First things first, take medication as necessary to testify clearly. Dress comfortably, but not disrespectfully. Bring photo ID. Don't bring knives, guns, or other prohibited items. Make sure you know where the hearing is. If you don't, look at your hearing notice. Arrive early, normally 30 minutes is early enough. Watch our other videos about the hearing if you haven't already done so. I will put links into the description, but they are going to cover a lot of other parts about the hearing that I have not done in this video, so make sure you watch those. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'll see you next time.